everyone. Guess what? It's Thursday again. Does anybody else's week go as fast as mine does? Because I just feel like Thursday was 3 days ago. But I have something very special for you today. I have a couple guests. I have a peanut gallery. We're in for a very fun show. So while everybody's jumping on, say hi, say what's going on. I'm going to go through the messages that I didn't do last week because I didn't want to. But so I thought I'd get them out of the way right now. So let's go through these quickly while everybody's jumping on. Say hi. Yes, don't you love that quilted coat I had on? Kaylee took some photos with me in my beautiful new coat. All right, so let's talk about Cross Stitch Club. We have March 6th Cross Stitch Club here at the Gathering. Come join us for the day. I saw April 3rd. I thought, is that a whole week? No. All right, so come for Cross Stitch Club during the day. We will feed you lunch for $25. You can cross stitch till your eyeballs hurt. Just come have some fun and hang out with us. We love to see what everyone's working on and get all caught up in the crazy cross stitch world that we have right now. Then we have Bernina Social on March 11th. That is coming up after that one there. And this is just bring your machine. Come learn more about it. There's always a couple people there that can help you learn anything about your machine. Find somebody else. Learn all the things that your machine is capable of doing. And can't help that enough that that group is very supportive and can teach you anything that you want to know. Then we have Sit and Stitch. This is March 12th. This is my group that I try to be there every time, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But there's always help there for you. You come in, you sew all day from 9 to 4. We feed you, we have snacks, and it's just a great time to work on anything that you want. If you need any help with anything, we're there to help you with that as well. And then we have Wool Club. Jess's Wool Club, March 20th is the next one. Again, $25 per session. We feed you lunch and you hang out and work on your wool projects. Then we have Stitchers Gathering, which is Joanne Blank's club that she is the host of. And this is a very beautiful group that's been together for a long time. They love hand stitching, hand piecing, anything by hand. They do these cute little challenges, and it's just a fun, loving group. If you're looking for a group that wants to get together on a regular basis, this might be a nice group for you if you love any of those things that I just talked about. Like I said, wide open arms. They will embrace you. The more people they have, the more people they love. All right. And then we have the Flying Needles Club. That is March 29th, and that is for knitting. Again, same thing. Come knit till you can't purl and knit or whatever that is. I don't really know the technical terms because I don't do it. But if you want to learn, that might be a good spot too to get some of the basics down, because they're just getting together and knitting, a place to come, eat lunch. And again, we don't sell yarn here, but we might have some options in the future. I just heard of something coming up. All right, then we have a Bernina class coming up. This is really big. This is the March 4th or 5th, one of these 2 days. And that is a long arm edge to edge class that you will come, you will pair up with a buddy. I think there's only 2 spots left in this. And then you go home with a quilted panel that all you have to do is bind. So for $200 or $150, you're going to go home with a quilted quilt. So well worth that in itself. And it'd be a perfect gift if you're not into national parks, or if you are into national parks, great car quilt, any of that kind of stuff. That's what we're doing. If you want to know what we're doing, go on the Stitch Brothers. I believe they showed that on episode 1, or did they show it on both episodes? Yeah. Both episodes. They'll show you the panel that we picked for that class. And then shortly after that, the 6th and the 7th, we are going to do a 790 Pro class with Barb, and she's going to show you all of the things that that machine can do in a short period of time, so you get a little bit of everything it can do, and then you can decide whether you want that machine, whether or not now you know what to do with your machine because you already have one. Anything goes in that class, and you'll have a fun project that you'll end up with that I designed, and it's patriotic. So any of these things that I'm talking about right now, you will call the Gathering on. And then, of course, we have a couple more. Sorry, Kaylee. We have Linda Hershka. I think there might be a few openings yet. March 22nd and March 23rd. That's a Friday and a Saturday. Come join Linda. She did this quilt behind me that I'll be talking about in a little bit. She will teach you all of her skills, her mad skills on how to plan this, how to execute it, and all of the ins and outs of becoming a custom quilter. Then we have, and you can do that on your domestic machine. It's not only for long arms. You'll get enough out of that too to be able to do that on your domestic machine. Then also April 5th through Saturday the 6th, so like a 2 full days of finishing for cross stitch on how to finish your projects. That is Kathy and Peggy doing that class there as well. And then Jess, is Laura full?
No, not yet.
Okay, so we have some spots open yet for Laura Heine, and she is 2 classes, April 10th and 11th, and then April 13th and 14th. Are you taking this class? Are you on the fence? All right. That's right. I was talking to somebody here in the peanut gallery. All right. So we have a Santa quilt and a spool quilt with flowers. Laura is an excellent teacher. You're going to learn a whole different way to think about your fabrics and making something. It's not about quilting. All right. This is art. You're going to be fusing and stitching over. So forget everything you know about quilting and come take this class, and she will open your eyes about the possibility of the things that you can make with thread or fabric, thread, and fusible web. I should take it. I want to do an anchor. All right. So, I didn't announce this yet, but I am the guest speaker for the Winneconne Chamber of Commerce March 9th program for celebrating International Women's Day. So I don't know yet. It might be boring. All right. But you might want to come and find out. So I'm going to talk to a group of women about being in business, and hopefully we can shine some light on what it's like to be a woman in business. All right. I hope my speechwriter shows up for that. The person who signed me up for that. I'm having a hot flash right now, so if you see me twitching, I really want to rip off my sweatshirt. Oh, all right. So let's get this party starting. Yes, I'm going to talk about my works in progress, but everything every day here is a work in progress. So we're always coming up with different things. And one of the things that happened was I had a guest come in, and I'm going to let her tell you the story because I might mess it up because I don't always remember things. So I'm going to invite Miss Pooja to come in, and you're going to tell our story.
Hi, everyone. So Lisa is absolutely inspiring. I have to start with that. And what she's built here is unbelievable. You guys, I've gotten a sneak peek of the OC Can You Sew?
Yes. Let me just interrupt you 1 second. So when you come here, I let these girls, we just did a tour, maybe a half hour ago before lunch, and I let them see what OC Can You Sew looks like. I let them see the finished quilt from the quilt box. So if you come here, you get to know things that nobody else gets to know, and I make them double pinky swear that it doesn't leave here, that they know they're special. Don't tell anybody else. Like you don't tell anybody where the treat is that puts out $5 bills. You leave that to yourself, right?
Yeah. But I'm going to fangirl for a minute before I introduce myself.
Is that what you were buying that red, white, and blue for?
No.
All right, so go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, this is beautiful, and Lisa is such a gracious host. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Wait till you see why she's here.
So I started quilting 3.5, 4 years ago during COVID. I had never had a sewing machine before, never stitched, never done any of that. Just got into it. All my friends around me were making bread. And I said, like literally learning to make bread. And I said, no, I have 2 kids and 1 on the way. I'm cooking enough anyway. During COVID, everyone wants to eat all the time. I'm not going in the kitchen any more than I need to. So I started quilting, and that was my escape. That was what brought me joy at the end of the day when I got down to do it. And, one thing led to another. As I was making quilts, I always changed something about something that I was doing. It could be the color scheme. It could be a block in it, just something. And that's what I enjoy doing.
Figuring it out, figuring something else out. Being unique.
And that's the challenging part of it for me. And also, I am a beginner. because there's so much to learn, and I keep learning every day, even in the last 1.5 days.
But you're brave,
so
and you're really smart.
so I
Tell-
would
She's a graduate of Stanford University, right?
yeah. So
I didn't tell you that.
I did my master's in law. So anyway, but
So you're ditching law for quilting.
I am. I'm
See, I didn't need that education.
I'm following my heart.
There you go. You gotta love it.
Yeah, and then I started playing around with 60-degree triangles, because I will say that, when I started quilting, I was looking at all these videos and everyone said start with a small quilt, and I said no, I want to do something that I enjoy and I want to use, and I made a queen quilt. Was the first one that I made, and it was all half square triangles, and it was fun, and I was proud of having that together. And then I started doing more stuff, and how, again, it's about being a beginner, right? Because you're scared of everything. It doesn't matter.
You're either scared of everything, but sometimes you don't know that something is hard either.
Exactly.
Right? Because you don't know.
Yes. And I kept hearing people say, okay, Y seams are difficult, but I'm scared of sewing straight anyway. So let me try doing a Y seam while I'm so anyway, so that's how I got started. Then I started with 60-degree triangles because everyone said bias is really tough. And I said, I'm going to try it because bias is really tough. And actually bias is your friend because you can stretch it to make it fit wherever you go.
You can manipulate it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure they're all wondering, are you starching? Are you a starcher?
I starch. So starch is your friend. Absolutely. Yes. Starch. Get enough spray bottles.
Who'd you learn that from?
From you.
I just want to ask.
Yes. Lisa's YouTube channel has been amazing because I am not trained. I have not gone to classes. This is my first time going to a retreat or, learning.
So how did you end up here?
You.
I know, but tell us how it happened.
Okay. So like I said, I started tweaking stuff in other people's patterns that I was making. And then I said, I need to start doing some of my own stuff too, because what if I do it like this? And what if I do it like this? And then patterns come together. And so I made a couple from Joyful Gatherings. And then I sent Lisa an email with those pictures saying, hey, I made these. I'm thinking about starting a quilt pattern business.
Company.
Yeah. What do you think about it? It's always good to have mentors in whatever you're doing. And Lisa replied to me, which to me was like, wow. She reads my email.
Not very many people know my email. So that's one thing. But you figured it out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So I sent her the email. She replied. We got talking. And she said she liked one of those. And she said, do you want to make it in my upcoming line in red, white, and blue? And I said, absolutely. And here I am.
Right. So I sent her some fabric. And then she sends me this picture back of it all completed within I can't even believe it even got there yet. And she already had it done. And then I'm like, so what do you think about coming to Primitive Gatherings and doing a video on it? And she's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, check out some airline tickets. So then the next day I hear from her, she goes, okay, I'm all booked. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, before she changes her mind, I have to get it done.
No, but I loved how efficient she was. You know what I mean? She's just like, okay, I'm coming on this date. I'm like, oh, okay, we can make that work. All right. Yeah. So this morning we did a video on her project. So should we show them the project that we picked up? Awesome.
We hold it up?
Yep, let's hold it up. So this video will be available next week along with a kit, and the pattern will be available. So this is her project. Isn't it awesome? And we go through it step by step. She explains everything. It's just amazing, right? And you did that in the joyful color too, which was red, white, and green. So
yeah, you could make it a tree skirt. You could make it a wall hanging. You could have it a table topper.
Yeah, so lots of uses for that. And it's different, isn't it? Mm-hmm. When I look at that, I'm like, holy crap, I really like that. It's different.
Thank you.
Right. So your goal is to become a pattern designer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So we're all going to help her out. All right. Primitive Gatherings is going to do this pattern for her for this time. And you already got some other things in the works, because tell them that too.
I do. So I actually set up a little Etsy store last week. It's called Scraps and Stash on Etsy.
Scraps and Stash. Okay.
Because I love scrap work. I save all my scraps.
Yeah.
I'm a hoarder. And then I collect all the stash because I need to have all the beautiful, lovely fabric. And I'm only 4 years into this. So I feel like I have a lifetime of catching up to do with that.
Yeah. You have, did you tell them you have 3 young kids too?
Yes, I have 3 young ones. So
Yeah, so
9, 5, and 3.
Yeah, so she's a busy mom, and I'm just impressed that she finds time to do this, and we love it when that next generation, because you could be my daughter. She's that young, right? She's the same age as Lance is or would be. So I really love that you're here and that you're,
Thank you.
like I said, anything I can do for you, I am here for you to help you make this go, because this is big enough for all of us. And I just want to help you along, and
thank you.
I appreciate the fact that you love my fabrics and you
do.
want to, do this. And so I have to do my job and make sure it keeps going after me.
These are rich colors. These are
Yes,
beautiful.
you like those colors. Yeah,
I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as it's works in progress, I said bring some works in progress and show us what you're working on.
Okay. So I love 60-degree triangles, if you didn't know.
So 60 degrees can be a triangle or a diamond, right?
It can.
Yeah.
It can. And this one uses both.
Yep. Okay.
So I love 2-color quilts. I love red and white. I love blue and white. I love red, white, and blue. I love green, white, and red. But I also love the rainbow. Absolutely love the rainbow. So, I work on some which will be red and white for a little bit, and then I need to go back to my rainbow. So I'm working on a rainbow quilt now. So this is going to be one block in that. This is all strip pieced.
Okay.
So it looks more difficult than it is. And it's going to be 10 rows, and it's just going to cascade down.
Okay, we can't wait
rainbow.
to see it. You're going to send me pictures, right?
I will.
Awesome.
Well, I tested one out, but now I want to make it bigger.
I have some other ideas in mind for her too. I'm hoping she might want a full-time job to facilitate some of the things that I need, because guess what? If I need them, she's going to need them eventually too. So she might as well learn it for both of us. Yeah. So I mean, I might be a little sneaky that way too when I see somebody who knows technologies and understands it, because let's face it, I'm on the edge of, I do things the old way, but yet I know the new way is up and coming, and I don't want to miss out on that, even though I'm on that borderline age of. But in the old scheme of things, don't you love it when the older generation embraces the social media and the technology, and they go for it? Like, I love watching the antique guys, explain how to use social media. It's just so awesome when they're like, 80 years old and they're telling you how to use social media. Yeah, I love it. So I'm hoping that maybe something will come more of this. I'll help you, but maybe you can help me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope to have a really good friendship with her, and maybe we have some employment opportunities for her that she can work right where she is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Right. Are you near?
I'm right near Philadelphia, so go Eagles, go Birds.
Oh no. You know where you're at, right? You're in Packer country here. Oh, dirty Birds.
Well, I'm not a football fan. I don't understand the sport. So go Birds.
You know enough to say that, right? Awesome. Yeah, so that's what we got going on here. What else did we talk about that we might want to say? Do you remember? I lost my notes somewhere, so
I think that was it.
Anything else we want to talk about? Oh, what did you buy at the store?
Oh.
So she came home. She just came back to the gathering. I'm like, what do you got in there? And so she comes strutting her bag. So I said, you should show everybody what you got. We'll have to see what other people buy, don't we?
Okay, so I don't do wool applique. I have never stitched in my life, but I had to get this.
So this is called Tri-Up Tulip Kit. So she's going to do some wool applique.
And this is Follow the Sun.
Ooh, can you see with there we go. She's jumping right in.
And then I got a whole bunch of reds and background. There's going to be a red and white quilt right after the rainbow one.
Good job. Awesome. You got the free little Nomi pattern that we're giving out in February. If you don't know anything about that, check your downloads. If you did a online order, I think we included in those. Yeah.
And everyone at the shop is so amazing because they'll cut it exactly how you want it. So helpful. It's unbelievable. The customer service is great.
I'm so happy you were able to come.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Too.
Remember, next week, I think Kaylee will be able to get that out next week, our video on, and the name of this is, you say it.
It's Rani's Twinkling Star.
Right.
Rani is my littlest one that's her middle name. So that's
I
what
said,
we're
let's
going
name
with.
it after one of your babies.
Yeah. It's gonna be so
Awesome.
exciting when she grows up and she finds out.
And
that
then
it's my
again,
quilt.
her Etsy store, Scraps and Stash
That's
is her
right.
Etsy store.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome, Pooja. I'm so glad you're here. Isn't she fun and cute and adorable? So let's help her be successful. All right. What's next? What's next? What's next? Come on. Let's do you. Miss Terry. Miss Terry. So I thought that we could show your quilt. So this is Terry Hillman. She is a longtime sample maker for me. She's awesome.
Thank
She
you.
gets the stuff done, don't you?
Yes, I do. And
All
it's fun. It's
All
really
right.
a lot of fun.
Give us a short little bio about you.
Well, I met Lisa through her sister, Lisa. We used to work together and she was a great person. And when they found out they were sisters, she said, you have to meet my sister. And I'm like, yes, I do. And we came and I was just retiring and it was just a great opportunity. Lisa asked me if I wanted to do samples and
Yes, because she was
It's
making
been
all this stuff
wonderful.
to sell. I'm like, how about if you just make some stuff for me and I just give you the money? And then you don't have to make something, hope it sells to make money.
Yeah.
I'll just give you some money.
yeah,
Let
and
me
it
keep
works
that
out really
quilt.
well.
Yes, right? Because
I
you don't
love
have
it.
any,
Yeah,
What's
and
up?
you make so many quilts throughout your lifetime and to be inspired. And I never would want to do anything little tiny, ever. An inch,
Before.
no way before. And now you should see me. That's all I
yes,
do.
you should see her.
So I
She's
love it.
making little itty bitty things over
Yes.
there that I'm like drooling over.
And I'm using, I have that oh shit ripper.
Yeah.
Ripper. I use that a lot this week. But yeah, it's been great working with Lisa and the staff and Erica's food and everybody is just so wonderful to be able
Yeah,
to
so you come
here.
once a year with this group. This is year 2?
This is year 3.
Year
for
3.
us.
Okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
if all of you were,
Yeah, most of us, and then we met this other whole group of ladies that we are coming back
See,
next year. At the
I
same
don't
time.
fib when I tell you, you come here, you
You
make
meet.
friends, and then you make more
Mhm.
friends, and then you keep making more friends, and before
Yes.
you know it, you're a group of almost 20,
Yes,
right?
yes. I don't know how many there are for next year, but I think it's about almost 25 or.
Right. Well, we only hold 25, so it's not more than
Okay, so I'm sorry, that week is full. And
that. But hey, if you are a single person and want to come meet some friends, this would be a
Yeah.
good group right here for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's really a lot.
So, okay, since we don't have the quilt because it's getting bound, our binder, Miss Lori Thomas is binding this quilt right now, but Terry had a picture of it. So I want to show you the quilt that she just made for us, just brought back last week.
Mhm.
And it was called, what is this called? Ice
It's this-
crystal?
No, and you know what? I don't remember what it's called, Lisa.
Jess, you know what it's called? The big snowflake?
Wonderful kind.
Huh?
Wonderful kind.
Is that what it is?
I don't remember that.
I don't.
Jess is looking. But tell us a little bit about this quilt.
So this quilt, for one thing, the fabrics are absolutely gorgeous. It's a snowman gathering, and they're beautiful, and it's the easiest quilt to put together. They're all 3-inch blocks, and you have a couple half square triangle. That you're not using the triangle paper.
Because
But
there's
they're
not
big.
very many of them.
Yeah, they're
And it's
not.
big and clunky.
and it's fun to put together, and it's really easy.
I can see it laying across the bed this way, because I have a king size bed.
Mhm.
So your quilt's gonna lay this.
But you know what though? Because the snowflake is a little bit lower, and then you have an extra 3 rows.
Yep.
That's where your pillows go. So
Right.
the snowflake is actually in the center
Of the
your
bed. Yes.
which is
Do you ever
nice.
test drive them out and to look to see where they land? I do that all the time.
No,
Nope.
nope.
Oh yeah. Do you remember how size this one was?
I think this one was Jessica.
Yeah, I saw. A,
It's called One of a Kind.
oh, it
There
is.
you go.
You
And
are
it's
good.
62.5 by 70.
It looks bigger.
Can you
It ain't fitting on my bed.
One of a kind.
Yeah.
One of a kind, yes. But isn't it great? I wish we had it in person, but guess what? We will have it back
Yeah.
next week and we'll show it to you. But I wanted you to meet
Yeah.
Terry to know what a honey she was
Yeah,
and
it's
that
been fun.
how lucky I am to have her to make samples so I don't have to
Yeah.
burn the midnight
And
oil.
this was number 25 for me.
25 quilts
Samples,
she's made
yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and it's
Are you
great.
going home with one this time?
I
So
am.
sometimes we let her have the option of keeping them.
Yes.
Right. I love the one you want. you got.
So
that was
me
hard
too.
to be. Yes.
So this was Starry Eyes, and I had made one. I made all your reds with the whites,
Yes.
the creams. And then all of a sudden, after I turned that one in, she's just like, oh, can you get another one done just a red white? And let me tell you, there's like 840 half square triangles. And I'm like, sure, when do you need it by? Like next week or something it was. So it's kind of funny because I told my husband this story that Nick used to tear the paper off the half square triangles while he was watching football.
Or
So I-
baseball
yeah.
or whatever.
So I told my husband, I'm like, hey, can you help me? Nick helps Lisa. Can you tear off the papers? And he did. He helped me.
Yeah.
And that took,
it does help a
takes,
lot, right? Because it's
Yeah.
when you got that many, right? I
It
agree.
was.
It
It
does
really
help.
helps
So
a
if you
lot.
got somebody that can help you,
Yeah.
it really helps.
Yeah.
So
So it's been great.
yeah,
So I'm taking one quilt home today.
you are, and it's a beauty one.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's
It's
from Red and White
wonderful.
Gatherings.
All the
Yes,
red.
right. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so
so
thank
you
you.
so much for being a
Thank
part of Primitive
you.
Gatherings.
I
Yes.
love
We
that.
love it.
And
We-
thank you, Lisa.
We can't do this without an army of people. I'm
Mhm.
just here to tell you, yes, I know I get so much credit for this whole thing, but at the end of the day, it's the little things like this, you helping do samples, my staff helping do things. Everybody helps out
Mhm.
here, and we really, really, I really appreciate everybody. And I know I get way too much credit, but
Oh, well, it's a joy working for you. And
yeah.
you're meeting so many wonderful
Yeah.
people.
we're having so much fun over there at the gathering. Yeah, I came back last night and hung out with them until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore because I'm still hungover from last week.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, isn't that awesome? We got a sign that says applause. We'll have to put that on our list. All right. Does any of you girls want to come before I go into my stuff? Anybody want to say anything at all? You want to now's your time. Now's your time. Don't be shy. You only live once. Now we'll know you're here. All right. Introduce yourself.
I'm Carol Mollers, and I'm from Iowa.
All right.
And this is my first time here, and I am totally enjoying this. This is just amazing. If you ever get an opportunity to do this, this was actually a birthday
All
present.
right. It's
Yeah.
a bucket list thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
is.
we realize that not everybody can come every year at the same time, but I think you at least got to try once to get here in
Mhm.
your quilting life,
Mhm.
just to experience, because I built this for you. All right. I built this for all of us to enjoy and hang out. And it's just been so wonderful meeting people like you for the first time. And then you're with this group of people who've known each other for a couple times now. And
Mhm.
it's just so fun, isn't it? 'Cause
Yes.
don't you feel like you know me?
Yes, I do.
Right. And we
you're-
always have a little
you're
fun
just-
together.
You're so friendly, and you're just, you're just so
Well, because I'm just
approachable,
like
and-
you.
Yeah,
You know, I
are.
grew up the same way. I got lucky to, I
Yeah.
don't even know how this happens sometimes, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap, how did I do this?
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
So, but I couldn't do it without people like you. So
Well, we're just so grateful.
together
that you
we're
did
so
this.
much
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
You see how this
is-
works?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have a little secret about you. You want to share your secret? Aren't you a fabric designer?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I didn't know how to.
She's holding out on you. Brag a little bit. Let's get it out there.
Yeah. Back in 2018, I became an ambassador for Island Batik, and now I'm designing fabric for Island Batik. Yes.
Good
Yeah.
job.
So it's just kind of one of those dreams.
You want to tell us a little bit how you do that? Because boutiques are different than what I do.
Yeah.
Because I explained to you how I did fabrics today
Yeah.
during the tour. So just give us a quick little.
Yeah. Well, I just make a black and white drawing, and then I submit that to the company. Well, actually, I submit a lot, and then they pick out a collection of 6 designs. And then once my designs are picked out, then I have to go and colorize them. And so I decide on what color that I want for the collection. And then I get the strike offs just like you do. And you get a pile of
I
fabric.
love them. It's hard because some of them are so good and they don't
Yeah.
get to make the show.
Right. Yeah. And so once we decide on what we want for the collection, then they make them, and then they start packaging them, and then
And they come to you and you get to make stuff out
yeah, I
of them.
make samples and
How far ahead do you get them before a market or?
I get the fabric about 2.5 months before I have to make my samples. And then usually they'll go to market, like we have to send them in for photographing and the catalog production.
Mhm.
And so they don't arrive after market until like 5-6 months after market into the shops. So
Wow. Yep.
it takes a while.
Because it's the same
Yeah.
with Moda, you know, like we show you when it's available, we show you when the shops can order it, we do
Mhm.
pre-order. So it's kind of like that same thing. There's always that leg because they don't want to overrun fabric, so they want to know how much people want.
Mhm.
So that's why fabric is always a pre-order,
Mhm.
and then it comes
Mhm.
months later,
Mhm.
6 months later after we order that. Yeah,
Mhm.
awesome. So
Yeah.
super exciting. And your color palette is beautiful because the ones that Terry was making a rapid fire Lemoyne Star last night, Miss Terry that was just here, in your boutique colors, right?
Yes, yes.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. So good job.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not really, boutiques ain't really my thing, but those were gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were nice.
So-
All right. Thank you for
Well,
coming.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I know she signed up for Fresh Cut Garden. So
Yes, I did. I did
she's,
that today.
she's on a new
Yeah.
adventure.
See, I'm not a wool person.
All right.
And
But
I learned
something happens when you
Yes,
come to
it
primitive
is.
gathering.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you get wool fever.
Yeah.
All right, you get wool fever. So
Yeah.
that's a thing. We might have to use that. You know, come to primitive gatherings or don't if you don't want to get the wool fever. Right?
Yeah.
Half square triangles.
Yeah.
What's that?
Or half square
Or half square triangles. Yes, because I will convert you all.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you very
I appreciate that coming on. So you never know who's going to come to primitive gatherings or who you might be sewing next to. I kind of just heard the little chitter chatter that she was designing boutique. So I waited until today, and I'm happy that she wasn't too shy to come on because I think that's awesome, right? All right, let's take a little break here. I got to take a drink. Does anybody have any questions that I need to answer, girls? Heidi and Jess are here. Nothing? Are they good?
Pretty much. I want to know where to find Pooja's Etsy site.
there's
I
the
can't find it. Is it like?
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
All right, so look for that. We'll get that out to you guys. Is it down for maintenance right now?
I don't know.
Did you turn it on?
I think I did.
Does it say you're on vacation? I've already been on an Etsy site and it says they're on vacation.
It's all PDF.
Okay. All right. I'm happy that you're trying to find that. All right. Let's have another guest. Come on, Miss Madeline. She's kicking and screaming. Oh, you wanted to go last. Okay. I forgot.
I mean, I can go on, but I was.
Come on in.
Oh, you have it right there.
I have it right here. Where's the other one? All right. She don't want to come on. But we need to show progress because one of my works in progress is you.
Always.
All right. All right. So just a little FYI, we have a little fun little weekend coming up. We are going to the wilderness with the little ones for their birthday. So she's running out of here to go grocery shopping for snacks and stuff like that because Jace's 9th birthday we are celebrating.
We are.
Right. Okay. So Miss Madeline is going to show you. I said pick a quilt, not both. We're going to do one at a time. So she actually just put binding on 2 quilts the last 2 days, right?
This one turned out better, so we're going to show this one.
Oh, okay. She just likes
the
this
first
one
one
better.
was a little messy. Yeah, I like this one better.
It ain't messy at all. Okay. So this technically is the first quilt she started working on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I think it's upside down.
Wow.
So this is a fabric line by Allie Kay called Noir, and it will be in the shop very soon. And this is the primitive gathering setting for this panel that we worked out. And she's got a lot of extra half square triangles left over that she's making some pillows, but we got to make the backs for them and get those together. But she sewed this all by herself. All right, she made the triangles.
I'm proud of it.
So, and then she's got the binding sewed on. So now she's going to be hand stitching. She loves handwork, right?
Look at this one on to the
Right, and it
Yeah, I
has
love
the
this.
what is this pattern called? The quilting one.
honeycomb.
You can see it from the back side here. Can you see it? It's the hex meander.
Honeycomb.
Huh?
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb, it's called. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, we use the invisible thread on the front. I'm sure the guys are going to want this for their show one of these days. But isn't she doing good? And this is what she says to me. So the next quilt, you'll see that next week. But it was more simple than this one. But I wanted her to learn her machine on that quilt when she made that. But this is what she says. I don't like doing that easy stuff. I want to do the half square triangles. And
I
then,
only know 2 things.
and then I made her make these big half square triangles. She's like, these are really big. I like the little ones.
I
Which
don't
is
know.
completely different than most people.
See, I think stitching long rows together as you're learning, I thought that was a type of challenge.
It was,
Yeah.
yep, to keep them all straight. And
Mhm.
and what did I tell you at the end? I was like, don't worry if they don't match up on the end, because we're just gonna trim, right? And
Yeah.
it trimmed up nice. So we can't wait to show you the next one she did, and it's actually going to be one of our weekend quilt edition quilts. So we are going to start not right away, but once a month we're going to do a weekend quilt, a quilt you can get done in a weekend. And you know what? I'm almost like a professional anchor, because that's going to section into my next quilt I'm going to show you. So anything else you got to share with us today?
I would like
Oh,
to show
wait a minute.
this.
Oh.
I made this for Jake for Valentine's Day, but I have really fallen in love with applique and hand stitching, and this was the first thing I made. There are a lot of challenges, like when you put these on, it's all backwards, and I drew this by hand. So I was outlining with a Sharpie and then flipping the paper over, then transferring that to the fusible web. But
She was doing it without any of my help. So she just did it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I
Jake
can
framed
show
it.
you some things, because she did some butting up instead of underlying. So she learned some of that stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And she's just a little go-getter. Did you bring your flower too? Or are you going to show that next week?
I've been stitching everything. My backpack's like half decorated now.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you haven't noticed, she really likes that, 60, 70 flower power lava lamp. Their house is just a collage of color. It's so beautiful and warm and awesome. And
a colorful
you don't
place.
know this, but when Luke and Laura went to your house for your housewarming party, do you know that I got a text the next day saying, what do you think about these colors for my wall?
Really? Oh, I love it. I love it.
So you must have inspired him to think about wall color, because he's texting me the next morning like, do you like these wall color? This orange.
We almost said, I think we might have sent him off with some
Yeah.
orange paint.
Yeah. So
We like orange.
you're inspiring people to paint their house colors again.
Oh, great.
All right. All right. Thanks for coming on. See, it wasn't
Thanks
that
for
bad.
having me.
Awesome. Isn't that wonderful? All the creativity that's going on here and all the new people learning new things. I love it that people are willing to jump out of their comfort zone and learn something else. And I know it's hard when you get here. You think you think you don't need another thing to do. But once you get around this wool, it is really wool fever, right? Because it's so beautiful. And you just want to take it home and work with it. So I warn you, if you don't want another one, please stay away. Because you will get it if you do come here. But Miss Madeline is doing so well with me, and I couldn't be happier with what she's doing. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to my new segment that I wanted to talk about? No? Okay. So I just started explaining that we're going to do a section on weekend quilts. Alicia has one over there in the queue that we need to get quilted. That's a weekend quilt. I have one here. Madeline's going to have another one. So once a month, we're going to do a weekend quilt. And then maybe eventually we'll have enough people doing weekend quilts that maybe we have 2 a month or whatever. So, or maybe it's part of our membership when we finally get that thing going, but it's in the works. Okay. So I want to show you my weekend quilt because this is a work in progress. So I did this, actually, I would have finished it in one day, but I ran out of one of the fabrics. So I had to come here the next day and finish it up. But you want to help me, dear? All right. So this is just a simple quilt with 3 flannels, the same print. And it can be done in no time at all. I did add 12-inch borders on the top and bottom and only 6 on the side here. So it became a rectangle. It's a couch quilt or a recliner quilt. if you want to fold that up for me, I appreciate that. So that'll be one of our weekend quilt editions. And I just want you to be aware of that that's coming up, because who doesn't like to make a quilt fast, easy? You don't feel like I can give this away, because if I want to make another one, I can make one super quick. But I love that. And I wanted to use those 3 gray. So a light gray, a medium gray, and a really dark gray, almost black. I really wouldn't call that black, because I would call it a really, really dark gray. And it just kind of has the same look here as this. But let me talk about the, here's my list here, Black Star Flower Farm behind me. If Kaylee wants to kind of pan through that while I talk. So Black Star Flower Farm's finishing kit went up for sale on our site. So when we first introduced this, we introduced it as you're going to get a kit for all the blocks and the center blocks. When we released this, I didn't know how I was going to set it. I didn't know if I was going to put applique, wool applique on the borders. So I didn't know. So I said the finishing kit will come at the end, and it will be an extra purchase. So here's how the quilt turned out. The finishing kit that's available is available for the cotton version or the wool version, because there's no wool. It's just the sashing, the stars here. This is the binding as well. And then the borders. Okay. So that's the finishing kit. And then the pattern for the finishing kit is in there as well. So that's what you get. It is on our website right now. It is ready for purchase. I do want to point out, we are not going to hold and offer a finishing kit only forever. All right. A very short window, because guess what? We want to take the fabrics and do complete kits for this, because this is an awesome quilt. Everybody wants it. And I want to make sure we have enough fabric for our finishing kit. So I'm going to give you about 2 months. After 2 months, if you're not ordering a finishing kit, you may not get one, because we're going to make full kits for this. All right. So I hope that's clear. I hope that's a warning. I hate breaking people's heart when they can't get these fabrics that work so well with your fabrics here that we already did. I don't want to tell you we don't have anymore. So please jump on that if you want these exact fabrics. You can see that I picked out a border where you can see the quilting on there. I tried to pick the most solid dark border for that. And then I thought this was a beautiful blend of the gray, the brown, and the black and cream together. So this has all 4 colors in it here in that sashing, and that will not be around forever. If you want to buy a full kit for this right now, it is up on our website. We do have X amount of kits, full kits only right now up there. And then maybe later on, we may be able to add some more full kits depending on how many people order that finishing kit. So do you see how my life goes? It's not always easy. So if you know people who are doing this, maybe you are doing this with a couple of friends, make sure they know about the finishing kit, because not everybody's on social media every day following us every week like I know you guys are. Okay, so spread the word. There is only a couple threads for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 threads only to do the whole quilt. So there's not a lot there. I can give you some prices. Now, we have a new system for our subscriptions. And one of the things is we have to charge something when you sign up. So what Jessica did on this one is it's a 14-month program. So she took $1 off of every month and she set it up as a setup fee or like a registration fee. So for $14, that's your registration fee to get you in the system. And then it's going to price out that first one. So she took $1 off of each month's shipment for the setup fee, right, Jess?
Yes.
All right. So that's to get you in there. And then when we ship out the first one, which is, did you tell me when this was happening?
April.
Huh?
April.
April. So April, whatever the date is, 5th, every April 5th, your card's going to be charged for $29 a month for 14 months. And 14 months, $29, because it should have been 30, but we took that $1 to put that into the registration, which is all a part of the program. It's not extra. All right. I hope that's clear. And then you also can get the thread kit for $40.60. And then you also can order your backing fabric for $83.20. So those are all your options if you want to sign up for Black Star Flower Farm. Did I forget anything?
They'll get everything that you see
Yes.
on the front of the quilt.
Everything on the front. So it is going to include your finishing kit, the block of the month this time. So now that we're rerunning it and we know all the particulars, everything is included. If you order the backing fabric, the whole thing. If you don't, the backing fabric is optional, but it does come with binding, sashing, borders, all that stuff for the whole quilt. You don't have to purchase a finishing kit at the end like my people who started in the beginning did. So I hope that's not confusing. Phew, right? That's a lot. But isn't it gorgeous? And remember, you can come and learn from the expert on how to quilt this. And then we have Liberty Gatherings. So I want to show Liberty Gatherings quick. It is right here, right there, right behind you, Pooja. Let's hold this one up, and then I'm going to talk about this. I promise we're doing some block of the month stuff. So this is work in progress too as well, right? All right, so this quilt we have taken and we have recolored, and we will give you the recolor options on the new pattern. So even if you have the old pattern, we will find a way to get you how we have recolored it with the new American Gatherings fabrics. We don't have any tan, but what we've done is we've chosen all the heavily, the light fabrics that are heavily printed in another color. Those are going to show up really nice where the tan fabrics are. So this has been on our bucket list. People have been asking us to rekit Liberty Gatherings for a while now, so it is finally happening. And we're going to do it really quick. We're not going to draw this all out for a long period of time. We're going to do 5 months on this one. So the price is going to be a little bit more, but it's less shipping that you're paying for. So we're actually saving you a lot of money by not shipping it over 12 months time. So we're trying to be very conscientious of shipping money. And that's the reason we don't do the block of the week anymore. If you haven't figured that out, we used to be able to ship a block of the week for under $5. We can't do that anymore. So we don't want you to pay all that extra money to do blocks of the week anymore. So that's why we're doing blocks of the month or shorter programs like this 5-month program. All right, so the details on this, write this down if you're at all interested. $5 sign-up fee. So again, the same, she's taking $1 off of each month and putting it into that sign-up fee because our system has to have a money value to everything. We can't just put, yeah, sign up for $0. No, it wants some money. So we got to sacrifice $5 off of every month to put into the sign-up fee. And like I said, it is part of the program. It's not an extra fee. We just took it off of once a month. So you're going to be paying $67 every other month for 5 months. So it's not 5 consecutive months. It's every other month. So you get a break there. And that includes the cost of shipping. The backing fabric is $52 for the 5 yards. A thread kit is available. Now, this is a pretty whopping thread kit. It's $149.75. We will figure on the back of the pattern. I believe we tell you all the threads, or we'll have that list somewhere available for you in case you already have a lot of threads. You can pick which ones you need. If you need the thread kit, we'll post that somewhere as well. So just make a note of that to post a thread kit because there's so many of them.
It's in with the description.
It's in the description on the site already. Okay, good job. See how my team is getting it already. Yeah, we've done this for a while. The pattern only is $40. So we're not including the pattern in the $67 because a lot of you already have it. And we ran out of kits a couple years ago when we did this quilt at the time, but now we're redoing it and we're going to put out a new pattern with these colors in from American Gatherings. Anybody have any questions on this? We only have 50 spots. So we had a sign-up list of interest over a couple hundred. So again, don't wait. Get on the list right away because that's all we have to pull this off. And do we have a deciding fabric that is the reason why we can't do more, or
Right.
we're just...
It's a deciding fact.
Okay, so we have a fabric that we're limited on. All right, so 50 spots. don't hesitate. 67 every other month. So that's nice too. So it's not consecutive every other. Okay. So those are our 2 block of the month offerings that we have just brand new for you to stay engaged. Because I know some of you go through some of those other things very quickly and are looking for something else to stitch. So speaking of monthly, we have Oh Say Can You Sew. I don't have an update on this one. If you have any questions on it, it is up for sale on our site for $5 for each of the 5 clues that are on this one. We do have back quarter towers for it. Does anybody have anything to say about Oh Say Can You Sew 2 that you're looking at that they can't see?
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's
Don't pass by.
drop dead gorgeous. Okay. I will maybe give you a few little sneak peeks as we go along so you understand the 2 background things, because we are using a print, light print, and I don't call that the background. Okay. But it is technically a background, right? But we use it very strategically, and it's awesome how we used it. But then you have a background that's plain. I highly suggest using a plain background for the background, because these light backgrounds that we are using that are included in the tower play with it to make a design element. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I don't know. Ask some questions and we'll try to figure it out for you. Okay? Can you flip me back on comments, please? Thank you.
Where do they go to sign up?
Where do you go to sign up? Anybody know? You can go a couple places. You can go to our website. You can go to lisabongean.com. Anywhere under Quilt Along, type in the search bar, Oh Say Can You Sew 2. You want to sign up for 2, not 1. All right. And I think Heidi has put our Quilt Alongs and Stitch Alongs in most priority, newest ones first. So the old ones are down on the bottom, right? I think I asked for that. And she has complied with that. All right. So yes, Miss Barbara, she saw. What does she say? If people are on the fence about Oh Say Can You Sew, she loves it. It's really beautiful. It is. And we won't lie to you. Okay. All right. So those are all of the quilt along. So I want to just show you another thing that got finished. So this is a little mini quilt we did last week. And I'm going to just show off for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is one of them that we're going to quilt on the 790 Pro by itself. So this is 1 inch. Whoop, 1 inch. These are 1/2 inch. Isn't that cool? And you know, if you get your nose right up to this, it's not perfect. Okay. You got to give yourself some grace when you're working in this scale, because, yeah. But one of the things I want to point out is when you work with dark on dark like this, make sure you have a coordinating thread. We don't want to have white thread poking through these colors. It's okay to sew white when we're sewing white and a dark together, because then the white thread will blend in because of the white fabric. But when we're sewing 2 darks together, get out the red fabric. That is a must. Okay? You will be doing this. Don't be afraid of the triangle paper. I promise you. So that was my one little show off there. I have finished. So we'll move on into my works in progress, or my finished works in progress. So here is one of my projects for the Mackinac Island Needlework Seminar. I always murder this name. All right. I got the back all finished with the tape. So what this tape does, it hides my edge of my foundation here. So that's laying in the middle there. And you just whip it on really fast. You whip into the yarn, and then you whip into the loops to attach that tape. But how cute is this? It's so much more adorable in person when you see it. But that's my class. And we will teach that here at Primitive Gatherings. And Jess, can you remind me to do a little mini retreat at Primitive Gatherings of a lot of the things that I'm doing at Mackinac back to back to back. So they want to come and be like, okay, can I take this class, and this class back to back? So if we can find somewhere June, July-ish in there that we have 3 days that maybe there's not a lot going on that we can put in, 3 consecutive classes because some of them are coming from 6 hours away and they don't want to drive back and forth. It's a great idea, don't you think? I think so too. Okay. Fresh Cut Garden. Here's block 7. My completed block here. I'm going to give you a little peek of 8. When you hang out, remember? When you hang out, you might see something. Look at this beautiful flower. It's upside down, but isn't it beautiful? Okay, that's all you get. So I'm stitching on 8. You guys are working on 7. So, and then I showed them block 9, and we're ready to get going on that. So that's moving along nicely. I just can't believe how fast time goes. So if you are on the fence again about wool, it's a great time to join the wool box. And I don't know how many spots we have left, but I know it's not many. And that's an ongoing project in our wool box. What I just showed you, that's one block, and it is the next set. Like, we're starting a new year, so we easily here have all blocks 1 through 6 that we can mail to you, or you can pick up right away. I know somebody over here just did this. She picked up all 6 previous blocks, a couple of them, and they are starting, and then they signed up for the wool box for 2024, and then they will start getting the rest of the blocks and the projects in the wool box. So thank you for joining up for that. That is nice and fun. Now I have more blocks. What week are we on, Heidi?
For that one, 30. That's going to be. Well, wait a minute now. What do you have there? Don't show.
I might have so much to show.
I'm trying to.
All right, you look at these. You tell me which ones I can show. I can show you how big my pile is getting of them while she's showing me which ones. I'm ahead, but I ain't that far ahead. But look at this set of blocks. If you started with us from the beginning, these are all labeled into weeks, and look at it. It's going to be over 100 blocks. This is called Twilight Stars. I'm making mine out of my Rustic Gatherings and Spellbound fabrics from Sweetfire Road. So I have mixed 2 fabric lines together to make mine. Mine is all oranges, grays, and blacks, kind of like Rustic. And she's figuring it out.
I don't even know where these. I wonder if
I just put them up. Those were ones I did 2 days ago.
Pause.
Pause.
Something else.
All right, move on. All right, I'll pick a winner in a minute. As soon as she tells me which blocks she won. Oh, okay. One more other work in progress or finally finished. So this is another farmhouse quilt. Jess, you want to help me with the name? Farmhouse Star.
Problem.
Sorry, Heidi. All right, so look at this beauty. I just got the binding on yesterday. I love stitching binding. And you forgot to talk about binding. So sit down. I got a good memory. It just doesn't, I don't remember it all at once.
Yeah, so binding is something I don't like to talk about. I don't like to do. But I've seen Lisa's videos and all of that. But then she showed me how to do it. And I've typically always done the 2.5 inches that I've heard about before. And then I saw her 2-inch and I said, okay, I'm going to try it. And I did it. And it's beautiful because it actually is even on both sides.
And she hand stitched it. She said she doesn't normally hand. So she did this last night. So she came here and, I kind of forgot to put the binding on for her. I had it quilted, but I forgot to put the binding on. I'm like, okay, we're going to quick make a binding and we're going to get this on and we'll have it. It'll be plenty of time before tomorrow. And she did. She got it all done. And she's just like, okay, wait a minute. This binding needle.
Yeah. So I got the binding needle from Primitive Gathering. So I realized why I was doing it wrong was because I didn't have the right needle.
And the needle makes a big difference because if you're just using whatever is in your pincushion, no wonder you hate it. right? Because you don't even, they're just like being a carpenter or whatever. There's always a right tool for the job or the best tool for the job. Yes, sometimes you can make it work, but it doesn't always make it easy or pleasant. So when you have the right needle, I'm getting like stink eye over here. Like lightning bolts. Lightning bolts. Oh, they were in there.
binder.
Were you just like,
Where in the heck did they go? I haven't.
I'm a PIA.
Flash.
I know. Over here, like, where are those? All right, back to binding needles.
Yeah. So when I went into the shop this morning, I had to buy the binding needles.
So hopefully, if you don't like to bind, try these binding needles. The purple tube, it says right on it, binding needle. So I have come to the conclusion that after all these years of, stitching and taking classes and buying things, and, wouldn't it be nice if the package said what it was for? Like applique needle, right? Not straw. Like, what does straw mean, right? Does straw mean applique needle? I don't know. How do you remember that 5 years after you took the class, right? So I started labeling what my needles are for. Applique, wool applique, binding, basting, big stitch quilting. So that's what my needles are packaged with, the intended use.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it works.
It works. Right. So thank you for that little spiel on binding, because what she's talking about here, watch this. Oh, this is black. So you see this? I'm going to give you a little hint. When on flannel, I go 2 1/8. But on regular cotton, I do 2, because when I sew this on and I flip it to the other side, it's the exact same on the front as it is on the back. And that just makes it folds over and comes right over the stitching line. And you just grab that fold, grab into the quilt, and you're just doing this little blind hem stitch that totally hides your stitches. The needle doesn't bend. It's strong. It's easy to push through. It's easy to thread. Make sure you're using quilting thread, not just normal thread. Quilting thread on a binding that's going to be used on a bed. If you're using it as a wall hanging, fine. I don't care what you use for that. But if that binding is going to take some abuse from being washed constantly or rubbed on or stuck up somebody's nose, I know you laugh at that, but that has happened in our family. Right? Well, I had a 3 tear binding that got stuck up the nose, the little nookie thing or whatever that is. All right. Hand quilting thread is the strongest thread for sewing binding. Okay. The Gutermann, the YLI, the Select, all those things work. Quilting thread, and then it's easy to thread because it's stiff, right? You just go whoop, right in that needle, and it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Motor blockheads. Who's doing motor blockheads? Let's show you my progress. I love looking at these. So is this last week's or this week's? Yesterday's.
Yeah.
I didn't have to ask. I finally remembered. So isn't this a cute block? I loved it. So I always do a little bit of tweaking on the patterns to show you how I do it. So the patterns for Moda, they're trying to write patterns for the whole big scheme of things, right? And a lot of quilters nowadays like to make things and cut them down. I do not. I like to make this flying geese and it turned out exactly how it's supposed to. Maybe I have to trim off some dog ears, but I'm not trimming down all 4 sides of every flying geese. No, I feel I am capable of making a flying geese come out to 1.5 by 3.5. Perfectly fine, right? So I give you the exact measurements on my blog for how I made that block. And I'm making the 6-inch blocks. If you're doing the 12-inch blocks, you're just going to do those sizes, which I think you can figure out. You just have to add the 7/8 onto them instead of, so on some of them where I'm doing 1 7/8, you're going to be doing 2 7/8 on the 12-inch blocks. All right. And then this unit right here, these little 4 patches, I strip piece those. So I did 2 18-inch 1 by 18-inch strips, 1 navy, 1 gray, stitched those together, press the seam open, and then 1 inch, cut them apart instead of doing squares. They didn't do that in the directions. So I did that. All you need is 18 inches. I think you really only need 16, but I gave you an extra 2 inches just in case you got a wobble here and there or whatever. I like to make myself a little extra, couple extra just in case, because you never know. So that's why I did 18 inches and not exactly 16 and a half, because I do like a little room when I'm cutting. But those are the only changes besides the right size for the half square triangles and the flying geese. And then I strip piece those 4 patch units. Okay. So I'll just give you a quick little fun little tour of my Moda blockheads here. All right. I'm just going to flip them down here because I did a little video about how I pick colors for my Moda blockheads. And what I talked about on this set of blocks is I picked a unconventional background. I picked a light gray. You don't see that very often. And then I picked an accent color that's in every block, and that's that navy. So that was my scheme or my plan on this set of blocks. This one I did the first block, and I did it out of order. So I didn't really know I was doing this navy. Anybody got any bets on whether I'm going to repiece it or not? I am not. Going in. So aren't these some fun blocks? Look at the creativity there. All right. So those are all the blocks up to date, including 1 and 2. I am pushing all my Moda blockheads blocks into one quilt. You did have an option of making like a Christmas quilt in the beginning, but I'm saving all of my blocks up till the end, and then I'm going to figure out how to set it. So I'm sorry I do not have that setting right now. When I get a little time, I'll start playing with it, but right now I do not know how I'm going to set mine. Okay. But I did use 2 basic backgrounds that can easily be purchased, more fabric. The 2 Bellas there, the gray and the navy, and they are all up on my site under Moda Blockheads 5. Heidi puts all that on every post that we do every Wednesday. Okay. Any questions at all on anything right now before I show you the Twilight Stars? And Heidi, do you have some winners for me?
I do.
Okay. We do have comments sold after this. I know we're running a little bit later today because we had so many exciting people join us. Don't you just love it when you don't know what's going to happen here? I do. That's how I live my whole life. Impromptu. We might have a schedule. We might follow it. We might not. You never know what's going to happen here. Okay. So the winner of week number 36 for Twilight Stars. All right. Here's our blocks for Twilight Stars. And if you're new, because I know there's so many new people all the time just jumping on. So this was a quilt along that used charm squares and half square triangles. So this middle, every middle changes, and it's 16 half square triangles for each middle. And then we figured out 100 different ways to set those half square triangles. So you can make one quilt, you can make many quilts, and you can make, these are 8-inch blocks. You can make 6-inch blocks, 4-inch blocks, 12-inch blocks. There's 4 different size blocks that you can make with this group. It is still on the website. I don't really know how it goes, but they're free each week. Are they free all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the winner is Sherry Han Burrell. You have won this week. There are her pretty blocks, and she's showing her pressing stick. I love that wool pressing stick, but I have to confess, I didn't buy it because it's a lot of money. I think it's a lot of money. It's probably worth it though, but I'm too cheap. I just use the one I always use because it's just way cheaper. I'm frugal, but it is awesome. So thanks for showing that. All right. Anything else? I'll pick my 3 winners. Anything from the peanut gallery? Thank you for joining me today, ladies. Pooja, Terry, Carol. I can't remember everything. I'm bad at names. After about the 6th time, yeah, then I got it. Or if I call you, like, you know, and then, you know what's funny is we live in that, you know, like everybody that comes here has the same 12 names. Yeah. It's the ones that are unusual that you remember.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. We're doing comments sold right after this, so stay tuned for that. We have some things for you to buy. It's all about spring. Jessica has curated another beautiful comment sold for us. I'm going to help her with it. I'm not going to bail on her this week because I'm not teaching. So we'll look for that right up in the next 10 minutes coming up. And here are our winners for joining us. And you know what? I was thinking about this. I need to up my prize game. I think we need to give away some better prizes, big ones. So we're going to do, when we do 3 prizes each week, not that you don't give away good prizes, but I'm just going to, I think we're at a good spot to up our game. You know, like, let me go pick one. Okay, so 2 of you are going to get a normal Heidi prize. And then 1 person each week, we are going to up the ante and give away some really good prizes. 1. Okay, I just remembered something. Where's my little sneak peek into our mini quilt show? Where did that quilt go? I thought I had it on my pile.
It's little. I had it right there.
Stuff just disappears.
I can give you these.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I
Those are
had
the
it.
ones that
I
Jess
can
has.
give you these. I don't know where the other one is.
Okay, give me that one. No, just one. Nah, give me that one. Okay. I had a finished one that I just put the binding on. That's hiding in here somewhere. We'll find it the minute we sign off. Okay. But I want to remind you that our mini club for garden gatherings. So this is a garden gatherings tower. And we are doing a mini club. Jess, can you just grab me that one right there quickly? The dark tower. So we are going to do a mini club, 12 mini quilts using these 2 towers, these 2 fabrics. All right. I'm going to give you a peek at one of them. This one's not quilted, but this is 2 of the fabrics. Mini, you'll love it. Isn't it great? This one, I believe, uses 1-inch half square triangles. So I know most of you love half square triangles now. So there aren't any Y seams in this, so don't worry about that. These are half square triangles. But whoever wins this, you're halfway there to the mini quilt show that will be starting now, April. There it is. Okay, let's show them that one too. Oh, I was following the rules. I got caught. I'm going to show you the red thing. So we up here sometimes have a cluster of, we don't know what's going on. So now when we need something photographed, we have to put this big red tag on it. So here's quilt number 1 for our mini quilt contest or club coming up. So this is 2 of the fabrics from the tower, and that is going to be part of our quilt along for mini quilts. Thank you. I knew it was around here somewhere. I just can't remember. All right, so let's pick the winner of the tower. That is Jan B. If you are Jan B, claim your prize. And if Jan B is not your name, but you are a Jan B, we know the difference, okay? It is tied to an email, so Heidi does know which Jan B she picked. Then Diane Motley and Jody McEarthon, you are the other 2 winners. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, my audience. I love you and appreciate you because it makes it much more fun when you're here versus me being here with the, the homies. We have more fun when you hang out with us, all of us. They would agree to. That's just not coming from me. They like it when you're here too as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. Get some stitching done today. And I hope you join us for one of the many things we talked about today. Take care.